Hey, you know what time it is.
Time for the heart to heart journey to Unconditional Love Podcast.
Absolutely. I am your host, the late Luma. That is my co-host, Harlan Brown. And what's going on, Harlan Brown? What's going on?
Going on late bloomer. It's just been a great day. It's just been a great
Absolutely. I have to agree with you. It's been a wonderful day. But you know what? There's some people out there that the days is not going as wonderful as ours. And we
day.
want to help bring some joy to them today,
Absolutely.
especially in this podcast. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so we're gonna get right into it. We're just gonna have a heart to heart today. How about we do that? I know we kind of got a topic, but we don't really have a topic, but we just gonna have a heart to heart. So because that's what the name of the podcast is, right?
Right. And
So
that's
we
and
just gonna have a
it's a
heart to
journey.
heart.
So let's get on this journey.
Let's get on that journey. So you know what? A lot of people have been coming to me about lately, just not being heard in their relationship. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a tough one because not being heard, it stirs up a lot.
yeah,
So you got the loneliness because you feel like you're in it by yourself because nobody's
yeah,
hearing you, right? So
yeah,
you feel like you're in it by yourself. So that
yeah,
causes the loneliness, the confusion of why is nobody hearing me and why you can't hear what I'm trying to tell you.
yeah,
And then of course the frustration of it all when it's just like I feel like I'm in this by myself, frustrated, don't know what I'm gonna do next.
yeah,
So it's just a lot of things that gets bottled up when you're in that space by yourself. You feel like you're in that space by yourself, but
yeah.
um, you just don't feel heard.
Yeah, that isolation too. You feel isolated.
Yeah,
You feel isolated. You feel like you on an island by yourself, and you want to get over that rut, that rut, and you want to kind of get to that person, get to your partner, and say, "Please hear me out," but they're not hearing you out. So we're gonna call this today. Can you hear me? Can
can
you
you
hear me? Can you hear me? Are you really listening? So can you hear me? I
right,
think that's one of those things. It's people get frustrated because they're not being heard, and a lot of times they're not being heard for a lot of reasons.
right,
Um, I think it starts with because we got to remember when relationships start, everybody has everybody's undivided attention. Isn't that crazy?
but that's the part, like because you want to learn this person, you hang on every word, you listen to everything that comes out their mouth. It's so exciting and you want to be there to hear it and experience everything. And then you get to a point that people are like, yeah, I got it, but you don't get it because guess what, people evolve every day, so you need to have that same attention all the time.
All the time. But it doesn't happen that way, and that's why we have these relationships go into the kind of downward turmoil spin
Right,
because they gave each other undivided attention, then they became complacent with each
right,
other, and then they started taking each other for granted. And
right.
so, audience out there, like I said, this is a heart to heart. If you find yourself in those things that we just talked about, taking somebody for granted, not giving you undivided attention anymore, um, just becoming complacent in a relationship. Oh, that person's always going to be here. Or that person's, whatever. Um, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. You have to stay focused. You have to stay giving your undivided attention to the
Yes.
person that you say you love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot have said it better myself. Like, please
Yeah,
pay attention, stay on top of things. I know a lot of times with life, there comes your own personal challenges and you go through things and you get absorbed in your own things and thinking like, okay, so I got this going on in my life. I got this partner, but this partner understands, I'm going through this, so they can just chill over there for a while. But when
right.
you do that, you don't understand that that partner is chilling by themselves, and they're like, hey, I'm here, like,
Yeah, yeah,
remember me over here. But
yeah,
it's like it's so many different assets going on in your life that you're trying to juggle everything else. And somebody said it, and I don't remember who said it. I was listening to it somewhere, but it's just like the closest thing to us sometimes is the thing that we hurt the most, or the person that loves us the most is the one that we hurt the most, only because when we put ourselves on the back burner to do everything for everybody else, if we putting ourselves on the back burner, we putting that person that loves us behind us, right?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
means that this person is behind a pile of things trying to figure out, like,
Yeah.
I can't help this person. I can't, like, what can I do? Like, do you see me back here? Like,
Yeah.
look over here. I'm trying
But
to,
but how do we
so
get to that point? How do we get to that point? How does the relationship get to that point? Is it because of, what do you call it? Careers, being career oriented, and it's so much into your career. By the time you come home, you're tired. It's crazy because I always make the statement: you make time for what you want to make time for.
you do.
And even in relationships, so let's just say this. Let's say the relationship is going through a rut. You're not hearing each other and what have you. But if let me see, I don't know, if Beyonce's coming in town, you got your undivided attention, you getting the ticket, and you going to that concert. Think about that. Your relationship is going all crazy, but because you want to make time for Beyonce, you can make time and find time to, one, search for the tickets, wait in line for the tickets, online for the tickets, because it's got to do that, and then purchase the tickets, and then go to the make. And a lot of times people go to the concert out of town.
Right.
So you did all of that and gave your undivided attention to Beyonce, but you couldn't give your undivided attention to your relationship. So you make time for what you want to make time for. I wanted to give the audience an example of that, because they'll be like, what do you mean you make time? What you make time for? Yeah,
No, it's
you
true.
stop everything else to do what you need to get done, and don't concern yourself about the relationship part of it, because you make time for what you want to make time for, which means if you really wanted to make time so that you can hear what your partner is saying, you can do it.
You absolutely can.
You can do it.
There's no reason why you can't. If this person is important to you and this is what you want, then take the time to listen. And you're right. You do make time for what you make time for, what you want to do. You do what you want to do. I say you gonna do what you want to do anyway, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to make time for somebody, you make time for them. And I think a lot of people get lost in that, because in relationships, I see it a lot where it could be something very simple, right? It could be something very simple as, guess what? You know, um, I got friends who I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm gonna go hang out with them, and I'm gonna go do this. And now we decided to do this, and now I'm gonna take a flight to so and so and meet them at something. And it's always all of these great plans, but you have to also think about the person that is, like, in the relationship with you, like, so what about when are we going to have some time to spend together? And I think that is one of the things, as when you get into those ruts, is that should be a priority. When you see things starting to slip, take some time, stop, and not only have conversations, but how about spend some time together, do something fun together,
Yeah.
get together on a whole different, do
But
something that y'all don't do.
before you even go there,
Yeah.
how did we get to the point where I don't hear you anymore? We had an argument. You're not paying attention. You're on your phone when
Oh,
I'm explaining something to you.
yeah, yeah.
You're playing around, messing with the kids when I'm trying to let you know. I'm letting you know. I can't try to let you know. I'm letting you know that I didn't have a really good day, but you're not hearing me.
Right. And I
So
think that's
these
a
are
level of
realistic things
comfort.
that happens. Yeah, these are realistic things that happen in relationships. So we want to bring this out to the audience, so you guys today, to say, when you find yourself with all those examples that I just gave, take a step back,
Yeah.
because it is important for you to hear each other. It is very important for you to hear each other. I
Connection is
know, I
everything.
know work is important. I
Yeah.
know the fraternity or the sorority is important. I
Right.
know whatever organization you're part of is important. But would you have all of that, and would you have a great life if you didn't build it with your partner? So
True.
start there. Think about, I built this life I said I do, so I need to continue to build this life with my partner and hear my partner out because they're going through something.
Right.
But so when you find yourself in that situation, please just take a step back. It's real simple. Make time for what you want to make time for, and I believe your spouse, your significant other, your fiance, your partner, whatever, is very important for you to hear them out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, 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 because it is just so important because that's your connection. Your communication is your connection. This is how you get to know each other. This is how you guys get to brainstorm about different things and how we can evolve and get over different things, build things together, do things together. When you find yourself in a spot where you're not being heard, then you stop talking. And then when you stop talking, that communication it goes away, and then that's when it starts just tumbling downhill.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is good to say, hey, like, hey, let's go for a walk, let's go outside, let's do
But
something
the other
different.
person is not going to do that because they're so caught up, especially if you have an argument or a disagreement. They're going to want to get their point across as opposed to hearing what you have to say. So,
In those situations, you do have to take a step back and just and let it cool off. I always say let it cool off for a minute, because sometimes that's what you need. You need to cool off. If I'm arguing with somebody and we're having this debate and we're going back and forth, how about I just don't? How about I'm not trying to make my point your point. I want you to see where I'm coming from, right? And so if I'm trying to
but how do
tell
I
you
get
where I'm
there?
coming
How,
from,
how do I get you to get there to see for you to see where you coming from? If you've hurt me before, like we was talking and you didn't listen to me, so I don't want to listen to you now. I mean, that's the pettiness that goes on.
that's true.
So we
That's
got to help the audience because I know some of that pettiness is going on there. So when you're not listening to the other person because you already, when they're talking to you, you say, yeah, okay, I'll have a conversation with you. And then they start saying things, and then they say something you don't like. You already forming in your mind what you want to say. So think
right.
about that. And I know we're taking this where, we're just want to get you to a point where hear your partner out. So I got a scripture for this one.
Come on, hit the scripture because we need that scripture as the
Okay,
basis.
let's go ahead and hit the scripture on this one because this one is Proverbs 18:2. Can you read that for the audience, Harlan Brown?
Absolutely. Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions.
Think about that. When you want to have a conversation with someone, you don't want to understand what the other person is saying. You want to get your point across. And
True.
guess what that's called? You see the beginning of that scripture says fools. You
Fools.
are a fool because you're not taking the time to take the time and make time for your partner to hear them out.
Right. And I think that's so huge because everybody just wants to be understood, right? They're just looking for a
Or
simple line
heard.
of understanding and
I mean,
heard.
I don't even know if they care if they understand. They want to just be heard.
Hear
Like, just
my
hear me first. But
hear
look, I
my
don't care about you understanding right now. Just hear me. Like, let me even get my point across. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Hear what I'm saying. Listen to me. So, like, and I think that's a big thing. Like, we don't take the time to listen because we're so busy trying to drill our point in. And it's not always a drilling of a point. And when you have
Yeah.
conversations, how about it not be on a defensive? How about it just be like, hey, this is just how I think. You may not think the way I think. So that's perfectly fine with me. I'm just saying, this is it's not an argument. It's just a hey, this is what I thought it was going to be. You have a different opinion, and I respect your opinion, but to help
Well,
me,
do they? So do they really respect their opinion? Do they really respect their
you
opinion?
have to respect an
You
objective, right?
have to, but
You
do
cannot
couples
think that
really
your
do?
way is the only way. Like
But
you
that's
can't
how it goes
possibly think that.
sometimes. But that's how it goes sometimes. So,
And if
audience, if
that's the
this is
case,
if this is your relationship, know that it's more to it than just getting your point across or just doing whatever or wanting to win the argument.
right?
Like here. Like you know how they used to be, hear ye, hear ye. You know what I'm saying? Hear what your partner has to say because it can help that distinction, that tension, that that
Yes.
that break, you know, that wedge that you guys have when you're not paying attention or giving someone the undivided attention or just hearing them out.
And that
Like
is
we got to do this in steps sometimes, right?
absolutely, absolutely. You do. You really do.
Because like I said, you can hear them out. So let's hear me out first, and then you can understand. Because we can't even understand because you don't even want to hear me. So hear me out first, and as you hear me out, hopefully you're understanding. If you're not understanding, then I'm gonna have a conversation about. Please understand what I'm saying. And again, the dialogue is gonna be whatever. And again, we have fun with this, but we're
Right.
serious about what we're saying because
Very.
again, fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. When you
Right.
have your opinions and you only want to have your opinions and your opinions is the only one that counts, you don't even need to be in a relationship
No, you really don't.
because it's
Because you
not going to work. You're always going to be at odds. And I'm not telling you to break up. Believe me, that's not what I'm saying.
oh,
I'm saying,
absolutely not. It's just one of those things where you just respect somebody else having another opinion. Everything doesn't go your way, right?
yeah,
Everything is not like don't have those blinders on. And I think you miss out on so much when you don't take the other perspective. Like if you don't even consider the other perspective,
yeah,
then you're not even um allowing yourself any kind of growth.
right,
So that's how you grow. You like, wow, I never thought about it that way. I may not agree with how you thought about it, but I
yeah,
didn't think about it that way because I'm so focused on my way. So
yeah,
broaden your horizons and understand that there are other ways to look at everything. And I'm not telling you to go and change somebody's mind about how they feel. Just listen to just listen. That's all we're
yeah.
saying. Just listen.
Hear somebody out because you want to be heard. Do
Right.
unto others as they would have them do unto you.
Yeah.
Um, and it's important in a relationship, especially in that journey to unconditional love. And again, we're just having a heart to heart with you. We're just coming at you to say, listen, look at Proverbs 18 and 2. You don't
Mhm.
want to be in this category. You don't want to be considered a fool because you find no pleasure in understanding what your partner is saying, but you delight in forming and giving your own opinions.
Right.
Your opinion counts to your partner too. Just know that
Of course it
your
does.
opinion does count, but at the same time, your opinion counts to your person. You gotta have their opinions count towards you too.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and if you don't do that, then oh man, you're going to be in the situation that you're in now, unfortunately, and we
You're
don't want
missing
you to
out.
be in that situation. Yeah, because
You're
again,
missing out.
you remember why you got together.
Right.
Remember when you did give that person your undivided attention. Remember what it was like. Because if it wasn't that great, then you wouldn't have moved on to the next step,
Right. You wouldn't
right?
continued on. So
Right.
apparently there's a level of communication. And it's funny because a lot of people will say, oh, when you first meet somebody in the first 2 weeks, that's how you get to know everything about them because they're so open to share and express,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
as the relationship goes on, then they start to like narrow that window. Like,
I don't think. Listen, I don't think it's narrowing
so
that window. You really getting to understand who that person really is, because you can talk about yourself for weeks at a time, and it's like you having a conversation, and like you
right,
can communicate with each other. But when it comes to difficult conversations, when you have to rock the boat, and then you realize that the other person is not siding with you,
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
that's when oh really you so now your opinion becomes a hierarchy over their opinion,
Over their opinion
and you
and
can't
their
have a
feelings.
conversation.
And
I know. Look, I know our time is up. We might have to. We be.
yeah, we're gonna
I
have to
know
do
we
this
be
again.
going on.
We got to do
But
this again because I think it's very important. Not be
yeah,
you, it's not just it's just not overtaking and saying that my priority, my opinion accounts more.
yeah,
You are really diminishing the other person by saying like you don't really count. Like what are you even talking? Like you might as well just say shut up, you don't count because I'm
Yeah.
really trying to express, like, I get what you're saying, but what I'm trying to tell you is like, but that's not how it's done. You're supposed to do it this way.
Yeah.
And somebody's gonna have to give. And if this relationship is that important to you, how about coming to an even playing field where it's okay? Because when you don't allow people to talk and you don't hear them, they stop talking. And
Stop
that's the
talking.
that's the one thing that you
Shut
don't
down.
want. You
Major
don't want that.
shutdown. And again, when you're trying to get somebody to understand it, you're going to stay in that same place. Isn't that how I end on my podcast?
That's
Because
right. Trying to do
I'm
something.
trying to get you to understand this. That's why you are unable to go forward. Don't try to get them to understand it. Have them understand it and
Right.
communicate it in a way where they can understand it.
Right.
I'm
Right.
sorry. Late Bloomer had to drop a little bit of knowledge there and use his
I
phrase.
like it.
Hey, sometimes I get on my little soapbox, my pedestal, whatever. But it's only because I care about your relationship and you
Yeah.
moving forward. And don't be what Proverbs 18:2 is saying to you.
Right.
Because fools, they find no pleasure in understanding anything. They don't want to understand it.
They don't
But
have no
when they
desire.
have to be right all the time, when their opinions count more than anybody else's, then that's the way. You can have your opinion. And at the same time, y'all can agree to disagree about the opinions, but still have an understanding of what that other person is saying.
Right.
It is that simple. It's okay to agree to disagree. Doesn't have to be your way or the highway.
Exactly.
And
Like, celebrate somebody else's originality and individuality, because in a relationship, it's not that two people become one person as all opinions and all matters are the same. It's
yeah,
two individual people that came together and could work together in their differences.
yeah,
Like, we got a
yeah,
lot in common, and that's great, but we have to also understand that we need to respect those differences, because those differences make us stronger. Those
yeah,
differences help us to see things from different points of view. Those differences make us grow. And those are the things that you want in your relationship. You don't want to be stagnant and just be like, oh yeah, we're gonna
yeah.
do the same thing, and we like the same thing, we do the same thing, we always have the
Right.
same thing. Like, that's
Yeah. But again, can you hear
yeah,
me? Think about this when after you finish listening to this podcast. Can you hear your partner? Can you hear your spouse? Can you hear your fiance? Can you hear your kids? Can
yeah,
you hear your family? I mean, just think about that in those terms. We just wanted to have a heart to heart with you today about that, because hearing somebody is a key to understanding how communication works in a relationship.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Be quick to listen,
To listen.
right?
We
Be quick
please.
to listen, slow to speak.
Right.
And I know we might be repeating some things that we have on there because it is consistent. And what we're telling you today is, think about that question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Any last words? I know our time is up. Any last words, Olive Brown?
Just listen, please. Just always listen. Always lend an ear to listen, and listen without having to respond sometimes. Sometimes it's okay just to listen, because sometimes people just need a sounding board to hear them.
And I'm gonna say this. I gotta say this again because I'm plugging it in. Don't try to listen to your
Right.
partner,
Yeah.
because why? Because trying to do something will keep you in your same place. But when you actually do something, your place has no limitations. I am your host, the Late Bloomer. That is my co-host, Harlan Brown. And we see you on the next podcast.
See you on the next round.